Thank you very much, Nancy, and a very beautiful day to all of you who are hearing us, who are listening to us, and who are looking at us. I hope you're looking good. I think we are. Yeah. All right. It's always wonderful to be talking on the English language, because I remember the times when I myself was much, much, much younger, when I was like 17 and 18. And, I used to study in a government school. And I was from a background where, though we had English medium, there were girls it was a girls' school. So there were girls, I kind of, used to, there was something called Rapidex English. I think it's still available. So my father used to get it and I used to read it and try to speak in English and then the girls used to tell me, go throw your English in dustbin. Hindi में बोलते थे, अपनी अंग्रेजी को dustbin में फेंक के आओ फिर हमसे बात करना. And I kind of went down on my morale, I was like, kya Angrezi seekhna itna bura hota hai? Because I was like, at that time, when I was in school, I was like 15, 16. But then when I grew up, I was a little negative to the aspect. But believe me, that will, which I see in a lot of youngsters today, the will to really reach out. Why English is important? It's not important because we have to flaunt it to people. It's important because it has become a global language. So me starting from there and reaching to a level where at the age of 21, 22, I was training people on the language. It was a big stride. I was a die-hard negative, pessimist person, and I went on to being a die-hard optimist. It's a journey, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful way of transforming yourself. Get good people who are there to help you, to be there with you, like we at Mensa are trying to do. And it's a beautiful journey. English is a beautiful language. But yes, POT is put and BUT is but. So that's in the stride. And you have to have that fun and flavor of understanding. So my training experience spans over almost 20 years. And, talking to people. And, believe me, my experience with the learners have been the ones who really want to learn. They are eager, they are curious. And as a psychologist today, when I tell people, always have a beginner's mind and a curious mind who is wanting to learn, and who is not always wanting to say I'm an expert. Even I'm not an expert of the language, because I keep learning everything, every day in the language when you are teaching also.
Right.
And shadowing, okay, we'll come back to it.
So before we get into shadowing, right, let's talk a little bit about fluency. So we keep on talking about, okay, we need to be fluent. What is this fluent? So, okay, English is a language, just like any other languages, right? But why, you spoke about how it's a global language, but what is fluency? What does it look like in English language?
All right. जब हम हिंदी में बात करते हैं, अपनी किसी रीजनल लैंग्वेज की बात करते हैं ना, वो हम बचपन से सीख रहे होते हैं. तो we don't even have to think about it, और हम लोग automatically we become fluent in that language. But when I talk about fluency in the English language, it means you are able to speak for a while without any hesitation, while ensuring that you're making a point in whatever you're speaking. You can hold the attention of the person who is listening to you, and you can really go on with, let's say, a very simple question which is asked everywhere and anywhere. When you're going for an interview or when you're meeting new people, it is, tell me something about yourself. Believe me, this very question, even today, I've seen people struggling, not because they can't be fluent, just because they don't put their thought to it. So it's very important to put your thought to whatever you're doing, to frame things well. For example, if I were to give somebody a very simple word like, spectacles or hair. Now, there is so much to speak on hair, because I have been into training and I've been seeing. But when a student or a learner is there and I say, okay, tell me something about spectacles or speak something about hair. We all have hair. A fluency can be attained. I've had learners who pehle mein ek sentence hi bolenge. And then when I say, oh my God, let's go back to the WH family. Why, where, who, how. And once you reach out there to that WH family, you are able to form the sentences, and then you are able to speak like this. You know, so fluency is not about what you can speak, how much you can speak. It's about the content which you put in, and then the technique which you follow.
Right.
That is fluency.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, Ashima, when I think of fluency, right, I think of how at ease you are. You know, how you feel, how comfortable you feel, and how confident you feel. And they say that, okay, don't use so many filler words. Don't do this, don't do that. And I feel, okay, it has to be a balance of a lot of things. You know, feel confident, maybe use less filler words, I mean, you know, all of this, just dial it down. But it doesn't mean that you can't use all of them. According to me, I feel, you know, fluency is where you're thinking and then you're saying it without really stopping, you know, at all, like completely stopping. And there's so many things that you can do. But I think the first thing and the most important thing that you have to do is practice. And that's where we're leading, right? We're going towards this because today we want to talk about techniques. Today we want to talk about shadowing, right? And it's one of those techniques. Do you want to get to it? Guys, do pour in your questions. Whoever's listening, what are your fluency challenges? Let us know. What kind of problems do you face when you start speaking English? When you start expressing yourself in English? What kind of problems do you face? Let us know. We will take question and answers, but let's hear from Ashima what she thinks about the technique.
Again, going back to fluency, you're absolutely right. It's about, you know, the ease and the comfort and the confidence. And ease and comfort and confidence comes when you are working on a thought process which says, okay, I'm learning a language. I'm trying to work on it. I don't have to fret over it. If somebody else is speaking better than me, it's all right. They have also learned. They have also taken a lot of time. And, you know, that is what is my learning experience. I have, you know, seen people going from A to Z, not by, you know, jumping guns, but by practicing, as you use the word. Practice is the key to everything. And when you practice, you do the content development, you do the concept development. And let's go to the technique, which we are going to be talking about today. And as you said, it's wonderful to see people around, but yes, it's a Sunday and it's 12:30. A lot of people must be just getting up, rubbing their eyes. They had a late Saturday night, and, you know, so I hope you all had a great Saturday night, and you all had beautiful time, and you all would have some questions to bring in. So when I say shadowing, let me speak a tongue twister. You know, the tongue twister is she sells seashells at the seashore. Now, this is a thing which when you make somebody speak, where do you think people would be making errors, Nancy?
The she and the, look, I made it already. The she and the C.
So there are two sounds which we are focusing on, sh and s. So when I say shadowing, it's an imitation technique. It's a technique. You know, a lot of people would say, okay, go watch the Hollywood movies and try to, you know, understand their style of speech and all. When I was like learning, when I was practicing, at that time, there was no Google, there was no YouTube. So at that time, I had to go back to all those TNT movies, the black and white and all those, you know, 70s and 80s and movies and 90s movies to go see kya ho raha hai, kya bol rahe, kya bol rahe. But now with the YouTube have come in, and now with Mensa happening in a big way, believe me, Nancy, shadowing is so much easier because you have such beautiful people speaking English in India and trying to teach anywhere and everywhere. And as we are trying to do a lot of circles in Mensa ourselves, you know, style of speech of somebody. Now, पहले हम लोग shadowing पे आते हैं. Shadowing होता क्या है? When I say shadowing, shadowing is a way of trying to imitate what a person is speaking. अगर मैं अभी कुछ बोल रही हूँ, like I just said, it is the way of trying to imitate somebody what he or she is speaking. अभी इसमें मैं क्या क्या कर रही हूँ? I have an accent which I'm following. Right. Now I try to speak in a neutral accent.
Right.
Because if people can achieve a neutral accent, that is it. अगर मुझे सुन के, मेरी स्पीच को सुन के जो लोग उसको रिपीट करेंगे, उसके साथ साथ while they're listening to me and they're repeating, तो वो अपनी एक टोन बिल्ड कर रहे हैं, वो उसको इंटोनेशन को बिल्ड कर रहे हैं, and they are able to pronounce and speak in a fluent manner. So that is what shadowing is all about.
Right. And I love that you said that, right? Because it's very hard to get pronunciation, intonation intellectually right. I've never learned all of these things intellectually. Okay, intonation, you have to go. So the guys, we're talking about intonation. That means, so when I'm saying, hey, how are you? I'm not good. You know, my voice is going up and down and doing all the dance, right? So I've never learned how to make this up and down intellectually. Like, I've never studied it, but I've just watched movies and songs and stuff like that, and it automatically came through it. But it's very hard to get it right if you start studying it. That's why I love shadowing, because you just listen to someone and you start imitating them, and then it just slowly, automatically, kicks into it. Now, Ashima, I want to take a question. You know, TV guy says the biggest challenge for a small town person is to find someone to have a conversation with. So what would you suggest? And this is where it's so important. The other day I was realizing, even I don't have anyone to talk to. I work from home. I don't see a lot of people. How do I connect, and how do I polish my English speaking skills? And especially from people coming from small towns where maybe nobody knows English or fluent English speaking. So that's where Mensa comes into picture. Can you talk a little bit about that as well?
All right, absolutely. You know, when we talk about English, shadowing, definitely you have to imitate what the other person is saying. And when you talk about Mensa, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, Mensa is reaching to you in a very big way. You have all those recorded sessions up there. You have live talks. So if you have any confusion, you can reach out and you can talk, and you can, you know, go ahead. I think there are so many sessions happening where we do a 1-minute play, or we take a word, or we take a statement and make people to speak. And again, when you're speaking, we have so many people who come and speak there. Even if they're speaking wrong English, at least they are trying to maintain their flow. और अगर वो थोड़ा सा वो concept building कर लेते हैं, if they are able to, you know, put things into perspective. Like for example, if I brought in the word hair, so if I say hair, so अगर मुझे, you know, if I go back to the WH family and I start questioning कि हाँ ये हो सकता है, believe me, like this you would be able to speak. So अगर आप बात करते हैं किसी small towner की, so there is one way. Mensa is happening to you in a very big way. You have all the recorded sessions. And yes, online also, you know, you can go on to a lot of other things, but why go to other things? Mensa circles mein bahut sare recordings hain and live sessions hain. And yes, when you do that shadowing, start recording. आजकल सबके पास phone है. अपनी tone को record करो, अपनी आवाज को record करो, कुछ reading करके, और उसको सुनो. जब आप दूसरे, when you're listening to the other person, और उसको आप imitate करके, intonate कर रहे हो, pronounce कर रहे हो, slowly and gradually you will start understanding कि भाई मैं भी क्या गड़बड़ कर रहा हूँ या कर रही हूँ. I think that's where a bigger thing will start happening.
Right. I am in sync with you. I am so in sync with you, Ashima, because just before this session, I was writing down, thinking about, okay, what do you do? Right? When you have to achieve this level of fluency. And 3 things came to my mind. One is your consistent practice. When I say consistent, every day, you've got to do it every day. You can't think that, okay, one day I'm going to go on stage and be fluent. It doesn't happen. We know that. The second thing is that you've got to, you know, use some techniques, shadowing, or, you know, do a lot of things, right? And the third thing is analyze yourself. And that's a big thing. So I can't, it's uncanny that it's written right here on my notes, but I'm going to post a comment, and you can check out Mensa right here. Here's a link. You can download the app from here. But yeah, let's come to shadowing, and how do you exactly do it? What the hell it is, and how do you do it?
Okay. So again, before I go on to shadowing, I like to talk about, like you just said, three words, three important statements you made. When you really are eager to learn, the first thing is you should be able to ready to put in the time. You have to put in a consistent time every day. So nothing comes to, जब हम बचपन में A लिखना सीखे थे या क ख ग लिखना सीखे थे, I think 1 full year we were writing A B C D only, so it doesn't happen overnight, but you have come beyond that level in a very big way. So practice is the key to anything. So an important words for learning English. One is, you have to listen. सबसे पहला rule. These days people are saying the first rule is you just speak, 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 speak. But what do you speak? If you don't know what to speak, how will you speak? So the first idea is you got to get into the mode of listening. You listen to the people, you get into the mode of shadowing. जब आप पहले listen करते हैं तो आपको हो सकता है कुछ चीजें समझ ना आए, आपको हो सकता है कुछ चीजों में आपको problem हो. So there, like Mensa is something which you can reach out to the trainers, to the mentors all the time. So you can always go ask. So the first thing is you get into the mode of listening and complementing it with shadowing technique, which means imitate. यानी जैसे वो बोलते हैं ना, नकलची बंदर बन जाओ. Who's coming to judge you? Nobody. You are your own judge. हमारी सबसे प्रॉब्लम बड़ी ये है कि हम अपने आप को ही जज करना शुरू कर देते हैं. We are a monkey mind. We always try jumping things, और हमारे दिमाग में नेगेटिव सबसे पहले आता है, क्योंकि जो हमारे कोर बिलीव्स हैं, हमारे कोर बिलीव्स में सोसाइटी, हम लोग बहुत अच्छी सोसाइटी को बिलोंग करते हैं, वी हैव अ रिच कल्चर, मगर फिर भी कहीं ना कहीं हमारे कोर बिलीव्स में हमें नेगेटिविटी सिखाया जाता है. वी आर टोल्ड टू गेट नेगेटिव. अरे ये नहीं हुआ तो क्या हो जाएगा. When we were primitive, we just used to have two reactions. One was fight, the other was flight. But कहीं से ये fear आ गया, और ये fear जो है ना, हमको कहीं ना कहीं पीछे धकेलते रहता है. तो हमने पहले तो अपने fear को win करना है, and that is by winning over your cognitive distortion. क्योंकि लोगों को शर्म आती ये बोलते हुए भी कि मैं अंग्रेजी सीख रहा हूँ या अंग्रेजी सीख रही हूँ. That is one important point for everybody to understand. English is a second language to us. मेरी native language नहीं है, मेरी primary language नहीं है. अगर मैं कोई अंग्रेज हिंदी सीखता है तो क्या उसको शर्म आती है? कोई अंग्रेज संस्कृत सीखता है तो क्या उसको शर्म आती है? सबसे पहले जो ये शर्म और हेजिटेशन और एम्बैरेसमेंट है, हाय मुझे अंग्रेजी नहीं आती, मैं क्या करूं? व्हाई? हमारे अंदर ये हीन भावना क्यों है? वी हैव टू लेट गो ऑफ दैट नेगेटिव थॉट ऑफ प्लॉट. हमें पॉजिटिव अफर्मेशंस करनी पड़ेंगी. हमें अपनी कॉग्निशंस को, डिस्टॉर्टेड कॉग्निशंस को करेक्ट करना पड़ेगा कि हम लोग अगर अंग्रेजी सीख रहे हैं तो हम कुछ गलत नहीं कर रहे हैं. हमें नहीं सीखी भाई, हम लोग हिंदुस्तानी हैं, हमारा अलग अलग लैंग्वेज है. अंग्रेजी हमारी प्रिमिटिव या प्राइमरी लैंग्वेज नहीं थी. तो सबसे पहले अगर हम ये कॉग्निटिव डिस्टॉर्शन, बिकॉज बिलीव मी नैन्सी, ये जो कॉग्निटिव डिस्टॉर्शन है और ये जो एम्बैरेसमेंट है, ये हमें बार बार पीछे धकेलती है. बहुत सारे लर्नर्स इसीलिए खुल के सीख नहीं पाते हैं, बिकॉज दे कीप हेजिटेटिंग एंड फील एम्बैरेस्ड. वो मुझे अंग्रेजी अच्छे से नहीं आती है तो कोई बात नहीं, सीख रहे हो यार. मैं संस्कृत सीखने जाऊं, मैं फ्रेंच सीखने जाऊं, तो मैं क्या एम्बैरेस्ड फील करूंगी क्या? I think that's one core belief we have to go ahead. Do you agree with me, Nancy?
Absolutely, absolutely. Guys, leave your embarrassment behind and fully embrace this learning mindset. I think मैं खुलेआम बोलती हूँ कि मैं भी इंग्लिश सीख रही हूँ, या मेरी नेटिव जो लैंग्वेज है मैं उसमें अच्छी नहीं हूँ तो मैं वो भी सीख रही हूँ. We can only try, right? So yes, let's move on to what else we have with shadowing.
We try so much, Nancy, that we put ourselves into a routine and we take ourselves. हमें सबसे पहले अपना, Nancy, रूल क्या है? I have to know where I am. मेरा लेवल क्या है? अगर मैं बिना लेवल जाने स्टार्ट करूंगी ना तो शायद मैं कहीं नहीं पहुंच पाएंगी. It's very important to understand what my language level is. If you're talking about English language, what is my level of understanding of English? ग्रामर कैसा है, मेरा स्टाइल ऑफ स्पीच कैसा है, मेरा वोकैबुलरी कैसा है. आई थिंक वोकैबुलरी बाद में आती है. इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू एनहांस योर स्किल, मगर मुझे कोई पॉम्पस वर्ड्स यूज करके लोगों को इंप्रेस करने की जरूरत नहीं है. I can use words. Like, for example, I always use this word expert. That is the first word which comes to me. I say, I'm not an expert at anything. I'm trying to be an adept person. I would be achieving the skill over it. So what am I doing? I'm using this different, synonyms for the word expert. So अगर आपको vocabulary learn करनी है, you will have to take it slow and take it in the stride. जबरदस्ती के शब्द वो करते हैं ना कि जबरदस्ती के शब्द सीखो. No. For the best thing is when you're listening to somebody, when you're imitating or when you're shadowing somebody, there may be words which you don't understand. So start making a list of those words, and if you can reach out to the trainer, ask the trainer, and start making your own vocabulary छोटा सा book, and make sure जो आपने आज के 5 vocabulary words लिए after listening to that person, try to use them anywhere and everywhere. Repeat them. So the first thing which I said is to have a positive mindset, get rid of your cognitive distortions, don't feel embarrassed. Second is you have to listen. Very important. You can't go on to speaking if you don't know how to speak. So you have to get into the mode of understanding the style of speech, listen, shadow, and then go on to recording your voice. Go on to understanding, and if you have somebody, you can go, show your voice. अभी मेंजा पे तो आराम से आओ, जितनी मर्जी बात करो, रिकॉर्डेड सेशंस को सुनो, आओ वापस लाइव सेशन में, come back and tell the trainer, I want to say something. And I think all the mentors and the trainers are beautiful. They are putting their efforts there and trying to help the people to learn the language. And then reading. You have to learn to read. जब आप shadowing कर रहे हो, आप imitate कर रहे हो, तो आप उसको बढ़ाओगे कैसे? By reading something. Take a particular novel or a book which is of your level. Where, as I said, it is very important to understand what is your level. If you have understood your level, take help of a mentor or somebody to understand your level, and then start your journey from there. Then start reading. Again, try to read in that learned shadowing or imitation style. Record your voice, listen to yourself, and see. Because you're slowly, as you said, कि हमें जबरदस्ती जाके कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं. You just get into the mode. तो आपको पहले ग्रामर सीखो, ये सीखो. हाँ, बीच बीच में रास्ते में ग्रामर सीखना जरूरी है, कंसेप्ट्स क्लियर करना. इसीलिए जब आपको अपना लेवल मालूम है, आपको मालूम होगा आपको ग्रामर के कौन से कंसेप्ट्स मालूम है, कौन से कंसेप्ट्स मालूम नहीं है. आपको इनडायरेक्ट स्पीच, एक्टिव पैसिव तक पहुंचने की इनिशियली जरूरत नहीं है. दैट वी आर एट अ वेरी हाई लेवल व्हेन यू रियली वांट टू गेट इनटू एन एडवांस्ड मोड. सबसे पहले आप जब सीख रहे हो, एक फ्लुएंसी लाना, एक पॉजिटिव माइंडसेट रखना, कॉन्शियसली अवेयर. अगर मैं आपको एक वर्ड दूं, आप 2 मिनट लेके उसके ऊपर WH फैमिली को यूज करके कुछ फॉर्मुलेट करो सेंटेंसेस और फिर बोलो. रश नहीं करो. हम लोग क्या करते हैं ना, हमें घबराहट रहती है, अरे नहीं नहीं मुझसे पूछ लिया, जल्दी बोल दो नहीं तो बेइज्जती हो जाएगी अगर बोला नहीं तो. वी डोंट हैव टू गेट इनटू द मोड कि भैया मेरा बेइज्जती हो जाएगा. अगर रुको, आपसे कुछ पूछा गया, भागने की जरूरत है. हमें सिखाया जाता है ना, भागो भागो जल्दी, हर चीज में भागो. हम भागते हैं तो हम कॉन्शियसली अवेयर नहीं होते हैं, एंड वी मेक मिस्टेक्स. सो वी हैव टू लर्न टू बी माइंडफुल. टेक अ डीप ब्रेथ, होल्ड इट, लेट इट गो स्लो, come to the present, formulate, and then go ahead. So these are the small things. And then yes, अगर आपको लगा आप उस लेवल पे हो गए हैं, आपका स्पीच बहुत अच्छा हो गया है, और राइटिंग कई लोगों की बिना स्पीच अच्छे हुए भी होती है, तो लिख करके, अपनी बात को लिख करके बोल के रिकॉर्ड करो. I think that is also going to help you.
Absolutely, those were some valuable tips, Ashima. Thank you for that. We have so many listeners, guys. Ask away your fluency questions. We're talking about how to be fluent. We're talking about the shadowing technique. We're talking about all the other things which are ancillary. They're not directly related to shadowing or fluency, but they're so important. So we're talking about so many things. What I want to do now is, I was listening to this song. And I don't know what you think about this, Ashima, tell me. I think songs are the easiest way to perform this shadowing technique. I love songs. And I think because English has a rhythm, right? It has a, like, that's why it has a tone, it has a, rhythm. And I feel it's like a song. Even if I'm talking right now, it feels like a song, right? And that's why I love songs. So I was listening to this song. Do you think we should do this a little exercise of shadowing and show what shadowing it is? Okay. So guys, what we're trying to do is shadowing is what it's like you listen to someone, like Ashima said, you listen to someone talk. So they're talking, you take a little bit of a clip. So don't get overwhelmed by a big paragraph or a big speech or something. Don't take that. Just take a little bit of a clip and try to imitate, copy that completely in the same tone, the same accent. Don't feel scared or, weird or anything. No one is listening to you. Just get into a quiet place and, just perform the same accents exactly like that. Just copy it. Like Ashima said, monkey mind, right? So, yeah, do you have something, or do you want, can I go ahead and I can sing this little bit?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So guys, do this with us, right? So I was listening to this song and I cannot get it out of my head. It goes like this. I asked my mother, what will I be? So just this one. It's just this bit, right? So what you have to do is you have to just copy it. Sing it. You've probably never listened to the song, or you have. Just copy it. I'll do it once again. I asked my mother, what will I be? So when you go, from one sound, what will I be? Your English is a language where one sound leads to another and it flows seamlessly, and it would give, you a nudge, help with pronunciation, like Ashima was talking about, your intonation, a lot of things. So let me know, show me a thumbs up if you guys are doing this with us, or ask your questions. Any other thoughts, Ashima? What else do you want to say, what people should keep in mind?
Would want to bring in your point, what you said, shadowing is not about just, okay, when you're listening to somebody on a live thing, you can try imitating them at that time, but you'll have to take small things, like you just brought in the song. So if you are hearing to English programs, abhi news sunne mat baith jana कि भैया news सुनेंगे, क्योंकि news is read for the information. It's not a conversational language, right? तो हमें ऐसी भाषा सुननी है, ऐसी जिसमें बात हो रही हो, डिस्कशन हो रही हो, या जैसे कि Nancy said, listen to a song, and Nancy reminded me of this song, oh, I have a boyfriend, he carries all my looks. Oh, I have a boyfriend, he carries all my looks. So here also you see it's rising, it's it has that happy feeling. So
right.
Anything that brings me to one more point of shadowing, Nancy, is that people normally, as you said, they have to imitate the tone and the style and the rise and fall of the words.
Right.
Because a lot of times we speak in a flat tone.
Right.
Not because we want to, but we have learned it that way. A lot of people just speak in flat tone. They have a lot to say, but उनकी tone एक news reader की तरह flat tone आती है. अगर आप में से किसी को ऐसा लगता है you have a flat tone, then when you're doing shadowing, believe me, it helps. Like a small poem, you remember? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky.
It's going up and down. It's, yeah.
Shall I tell you one more way of speaking twinkle?
Yes, absolutely.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky.
It still has some level of ups and downs, but then it's relatively flat and it feels like so dreadful, really, Ashima.
So intonation really matters. When I'm talking to you and I say, Nancy, I want to talk to you, but you know what, I have so much to say, but I really don't know what to say, and I want to speak so much, but I don't know how to speak in English. But Nancy, I really want to speak in English.
I would immediately ask you, what's wrong, Ashima? You look so sad. Because your
Yeah.
voice is like so down and, flat and everything.
So if with the shadowing technique, people can start to learn how to intonate, Nancy.
Right.
Believe me, that will have the dopamine and melatonin release. They say if you are sad, just push your muscles, go in front of the mirror, force yourself to smile. And your chemicals in the brain would be released and you feel a little relaxed. It's the same with the intonation. When you're shadowing and you're trying to listen to the other person, she sells seashells at the seashore.
Right.
Nancy, let's hear this from you.
Awesome. So what we're going to rather do is we're going to take one last question before wrapping up.
Right.
You, all the guys, right? People, you've been listening and you've been such a nice audience. And I hope you found something meaningful, something you can practice.
Can I say something, Nancy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think people here also, in the first session, were there questions coming in from people?
A little bit, yes. Few questions.
So is it, oh my God, guys, you don't like me? Am I so bad? Please ask one or two questions. Nancy's also feeling bad.
There are questions.
Oh, where are they?
Let me ask you. So one of the questions is, how do you remove hesitation? So if someone is feeling hesitated, where do they begin?
See, when you say hesitation, you have to understand, is it the language hesitation or it is the hesitation of your mind? Because you're afraid. अगर मैंने गलत बोल दिया तो लोग क्या कहेंगे? Right. लोगों का काम है कहना, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, मगर हम उसी पशु पंच में रह जाते हैं, and that's where the hesitation comes in, dear people.
Right.
You have to learn to talk to your mind first of all. Hesitation is not in the language, it's in your mind.
Right. Can I add something else? I feel it's a major part of it is your responsibility, right? You have to find a place in yourself where you're not hesitated. You're like, okay, I can do it and all that. But also you need to find friends and company, people who can be supportive, who can go say, what do we do first? Okay, you just begin. Take that one step. Puju Solanki. Take that one step. Put yourself out there. Even if you feel that, okay, you didn't do so well, it's fine. It's fine. Baby steps, one step at a time. Keep analyzing yourself. And Rajat says, have a study buddy. That's a fantastic suggestion. So one last comment
Study
from
buddy?
Ashima. Yeah.
Go ahead. You had to say something.
No, I was just saying that before we wrap this up, I want to give it back to Ashima so Ashima can make last comments on this.
Believe me, be like the child. वो छोटा बच्चा होता है ना, वो हर चीज पूछता है, हर चीज करना चाहता है, वो try it out. Hesitation कहाँ से आ गई यार? Why this hesitation? We hesitate because we have learned the ways of the world. Learn the ways of the world, not to push you down, but to take you higher up. Be a beginner's mind, be a child's mind, try to explore, be curious. Hesitation ko bolo bhaiya, I don't want you to be arriving to me today. I'm little busy because I have a lot of curiosity about things, and I'm going to go ahead and get into the moment.
Right. And join Mensa. We have two very supportive communities. Super non-judgmental attitude. You would be able to find friends and people who can support you, coaches, a lot of things. So do explore there. I just posted the download link. So guys, check that out. We will be back with another episode of Learn English next Sunday, same time. And I want to thank Ashima. I want to thank you so much. This was such an amazing session. It was not just about how do you do shadowing, how do you do it, but it was also about what kind of thought processes we have and how do you get better, how do you remove the hesitation. So I want to thank you for that. Thank you guys for joining. Do check out Mensa and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye guys.
Thank you very much. God bless you all. I'm in gratitude of all of you for listening to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.